making headlines this hour. President Abdullah Yamin sends a message of sympathy to Prime Minister of India following Cyclone Varda that battered Chennai, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh of South India. The Auditor General's Office inaugurates its strategic plan for the period of 2017 to 2019. And Russia's UN envoy says the Syrian government military offense in Aleppo backed by Russia and Iran is over.
Good evening and welcome to Nightly News on Television Maldives with me, Fatma Sara. President Abdul Yamin Abdul Qayyum sends a message of sympathy to the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, following Cyclone Varda that battered Chennai, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh of South India. India's southern city of Chennai woke up to uprooted trees lining roads, flattened electric poles and damaged vehicles and property a day after a cyclone battered the country's south coast, killing 4 people. The president's message read that he was saddened to learn of the loss of lives and injury to many more, as well as the widespread damages and devastation caused by Cyclone Varda in southern India, particularly in Chennai, Tamil Nadu and Andhra Pradesh. The message further said that the government and the people of Maldives express heartfelt sympathy to the PM, the government and the people of India, and to those who are being directly affected by the cyclone. Varda is expected to weaken as it will pass over western Goa state on Wednesday. President Abdul Yamin Abdul Qayyum emphasizes the importance of establishing more canneries to further develop the Maldivian fishing sector. Speaking in the special function held to mark Fishermen's Day in Gemanafushi Island, President Yamin revealed plans to establish factories in 3 different key locations in 2017 with the help of Saudi funds. The President also announced that 2017 will see the commencement of the project to establish a sewerage system in Gemanafushi. In his speech, the President thanked Maldivian fishermen for their hard work. The President also thanked Tanzania's Minister of Fisheries, Hamad Rashid Mohammed, for attending this year's Fishermen's Day function and stated that agreements will be signed between Tanzania and Maldives to carry out fisheries sector projects. At the function, the President inaugurated the newly introduced stamp set by Maldives Post Limited and presented honorary plaques to those who have contributed to the development of the fisheries sector. The President was also presented with a special award from the Ministry of Fisheries and Agriculture in recognition for the services in developing the fisheries sector in the Maldives. On his official visit to North Huadu Atoll, President Yamin inaugurated a Masjidul Ibrahim in Gemanafushi Island. The mosque, which can accommodate up to 720 worshippers at a time, was initiated by Shisha Private Limited in memory of Gemanafushi Bandiyage's late Ibrahim Ahmad. At the inauguration, Shisha Private Limited Ahmad Hassan Manik presented the President with a replica of the Maghrib from Masjidul Ibrahim. The President then went on to inaugurate the newly established ice plant at Gemanafushi Harbour. The 3.75 million rupiah plant built by MIFCO via the government loan scheme can produce up to 25 tons of ice daily. Upon the inauguration, the President also attended a fish filleting competition. President Abdul Yamin arrived back in Mali this morning upon conclusion of his official visit to North Huadu Atoll. The President was accompanied on the visit by Minister of Tourism Musa Zamir and Minister of Islamic Affairs Ahmad Ziad. The Auditor General's Office inaugurates its strategic plan for the period of 2017 to 19. Vice President Abdul Jihad inaugurated the strategic plan at a special function held this morning at the Conference Hall of Islamic Center. According to the AG office, the purpose of inaugurating the strategic plan as publicly is part of AGO's endeavour to make their work more transparent to the public and stakeholders while also educating the public about auditing. The theme of the plan is providing value and benefits of public sector auditing to the nation and citizens. The key strategic goals of the plan are strengthening the accountability, transparency and integrity of public sector entities, demonstrating ongoing relevance to citizens, Parliament and other stakeholders, being a modern organization through leading by example and professional accountancy organization development. Speaking at the ceremony, Vice President shed light on the key strategic goals of the plan and said that auditors are not there to point out faults but to report facts. He also advised financial executives of the government and state offices to cooperate with Auditor General's office in reporting. Speaking at the function, Auditor General Hassan Ziad said Maldives needs a professional accounting body and that such a body will come to existence in the year 2017 under the efforts of the AG office. Environment Ministry assigns contractors to develop waste management centres in Vilingili Island in Gaf Alif Atoll and Gaddu Island in Gaf Dal Atoll. The agreement were signed at a ceremony held at the Ministry by Environment Minister Tariq Ibrahim and managing directors of the two companies. The project to develop an incinerator shed in Vilingili was handed over to NSR Investment. This project is estimated to cost approximately 132,000 rupiah, and the project to develop the waste management centre in Gaddu was handed over to ISF Construction Private Limited. This project will cost approximately 996,000 rupiah. Speaking after signing the agreements, the Environment Minister requested the companies to complete the projects in the agreed time period. The aim of the government is to establish waste management mechanisms in all inhabited islands by 2018. House and Development Corporation HDC assigns 7 local companies to construct row houses and flats in Hulumale. HDC said land will be allocated from Neighbourhood 1 in Hulumale. The HDC further revealed that the land allocated will vary from 2,690 to 2,723 square feet. Human Rights Commission of Maldives HRCM raises concerns regarding some media outlets reporting inaccurate and false information regarding the Commission and its president. HRCM said that some media outlets had reported that the president of HRCM saying that there were no concerns regarding human rights status in the country, which the Commission denied and said was untrue. HRCM said in a press release that the Commission's work and its employees are getting a bad name due to unprofessional and false information being published by the media. Statistics released by Maldives Customs shows an increase of 20% in imports in the month of November.
Statistics released by Maldives Customs Services for the month of November shows that the CIF value of goods imported during November increased by 20% compared to the month of November last year. According to Customs, goods worth 2.6 billion rupiah were imported during November 2015, whereas this year the figure was recorded at 3.1 billion rupiah. Among the top importing countries, UAE recorded the highest with 21%, Singapore and India were listed second and third with 14% and 11% respectively. The statistics shows that the total revenue collected through customs duty and other fees and fines during November 2016 decreased by 1% compared to that of November 2015. A total of 223 million rupiah was collected through customs duty last month. Customs Services said that the main reason for such a decrease in revenue were the increase of imports of zero-rated goods and imports from duty exempts, goods for projects and construction of new resorts. A total of 1.1 billion rupiah worth of goods imported was zero-rated, which was 17% of the total import of the month. Maldives Customs Services further said that the FOB value of goods exported during last month fell by 38% to that of the same period last year, which is a drop from 335 million rupiah in November 2015 to 208 million rupiah in November 2016. According to the statistics, the largest quantity of the exports was exported to Thailand, which is 27% of the total exports for the month of November.
Statistics shows a 6.6% increase in the number of Maldivians that visited Sri Lanka during November of this year compared to the same period last year. According to the tourism statistics of Sri Lanka, the number of Maldivians who visited Sri Lanka during November last year stood at 8,190 people, which increased to 9,948 people this November. The total number of Maldivians who visited Sri Lanka throughout 2015 is at 74,347. This number is at 79,255 for the year 2016. According to Sri Lanka's tourism statistics, Maldives is the sixth largest market for tourist arrivals in Sri Lanka. It also predicts an increase in the number of Maldivians visiting Sri Lanka during this December, as most Maldivians travel abroad during this month. India's Interior Minister Rajnath Singh says the government is trying to introduce a goods and service tax from 1st April 2017. Singh was speaking at a national conference of Associated Chambers of Commerce and Industry held in New Delhi. Singh's statement comes after a meeting of federal and state officials ended without deciding who would administer the tax. The long-awaited GST would turn Asia's third largest economy into a single market for the first time, broadening the tax base and making life simpler for businesses that now pay a host of federal and state levies. India's Interior Minister also added that GST would also bring transparency to the taxation system. The measure has been held up for years, with some of India's 29 states reluctant to give their assent for fear of revenue losses. Google's self-driving car company recasts itself as Waymo.
We spend so much.
Alphabet Inc.'s Google self-driving car project recasts itself as Waymo, an independent entity within the technology giant, as executives suggested the company is close to bringing its autonomous driving to the public. The move signals a desire to finally monetize the company's valuable research amid fierce competition from a score of rivals, all vying to be the first to launch production-ready self-driving cars. Google's high-profile program, now in its 7th year, has been at the forefront of self-driving technology, but it is now challenged by companies from Uber Technology Inc. to Apple Inc. and traditional car companies in the fast-growing industry. Waymo's chief executive John Krafcik told reporters at a press conference in San Francisco that it is an indication of the maturity of the technology. Krafcik said that the move shows confidence that the company is close to bringing the technology to a lot of people. He also noted that the company has reached an inflection point. That came in October 2015 when one of the company's self-driving cars gave the first fully autonomous ride in Austin, Texas to a blind man, Steve Mahan, with no one else in the car. Normally during testing, an engineer sits in the passenger seat to monitor the technology.
The first time I sat in one of the prototypes, I loved the fact that there was no steering wheel and no pedals. You know, I've long thought that taking the human out of the loop, was the, obvious direction that we needed to go. If the car is competent to drive me, let it do it itself.
Until now, the program has been part of Secretive Research Unit Google X. Waymo stands for a new way forward in mobility. According to Krafcik, Waymo would reveal when the technology will be production ready.
And a self-driving car.
And looking at news from international arena, Russia's UN envoy says that the Syrian government military offensive in Aleppo, backed by Russia and Iran, is over, as the United States described the violence in the besieged city as a modern evil.
Ambassador Vitaly Turkin initially told a heated UN Security Council meeting called by France and Britain the offensive was nearing an end, but he then corrected himself during the meeting that it had indeed already ended. He said an agreement had been struck for rebels to evacuate the northwestern city, and he said civilians would be unharmed despite Western and the UN accusation of the international killing of civilians. U.S. Ambassador to the United Nations, Samantha Power, told the Council that the Syrian government and its allies Russia and Iran bore responsibility for killings of civilians in Aleppo. Samantha Power further said that those involved in the Syrian war attacks should be ashamed.
It is your noose.
3 member states of the UN contributing to a noose around civilians. It should shame you. Instead, by all appearances, it is emboldening you. You are plotting your next assault. Are you truly incapable of shame? Is there literally nothing that can shame you? Is there no act of barbarism against civilians, no execution of a child that gets under your skin, that just creeps you out a little bit? Is there nothing you will not lie about or justify?
The Syrian army and its allies have driven rebels out of most of the areas of the Aleppo they held for years in the space of just weeks, aided by Russian airstrikes and the military support of Iran, Lebanese Hezbollah and the other militias. However, Vitaly Turkin brushed off Power's criticisms. Syrian rebels said a ceasefire with government forces in Aleppo was agreed after talks with Damascus' ally, Russia. Meanwhile, around 20 buses waited to evacuate the first group from eastern Aleppo, but the operation could be delayed until Thursday, with an opposition official blaming Iran and its Shiite militias allied to President Bashar al-Assad for the hold-up. A ceasefire agreement brokered by Russia, Assad's most powerful ally, and Turkey ended years of fighting in the city and has given the Syrian leader his biggest victory yet after more than 5 years of war. Officials in the military alliance fighting in support of Assad could not be reached immediately for comment on why the evacuation was delayed. Rebel sources said the ceasefire remained in place despite the delay in the evacuation plan. The United Nations said on Wednesday it was not involved in plans to evacuate fighters and civilians from eastern Aleppo, but it was ready to help with any evacuation.
Iraqi troops of the Counter-Terrorism Service CTS continue to advance into eastern side of the IS-held city of Mosul, capturing a new district and discovering an IS training center. Here's more on this.
Iraqi special forces said they recaptured a new district of eastern Mosul, expanding the army's foothold in the IS bastion. A commander of the Elite Counter-Terrorism Services, CTS, which has spearheaded the Mosul offensive, said troops had liberated and cleared out Al-Falah district in the eastern side of the city. The forces known as the Golden Division also discovered a center to train IS militants. A spokesperson said that several thousand Iraqi federal police were ready to join the assault against IS in East Mosul. The extra forces are being deployed as the grueling US-backed campaign to crush IS in its Iraqi stronghold as fighting enters its 9th week. Allied army troops have retaken a quarter of the city, but their advance has been slow and punishing. Defeating IS in Mosul, the biggest city it controls in Iraq and Syria, would be a crushing blow to the self-styled caliphate it declared in large parts of both countries 2 years ago, and might see it revert to more covert militant operations in Iraq. Iraqi commander says progress has been slowed by the fierce defense waged by IS, who they say they have used a network of tunnels under the eastern half of the city and exploited more than 1 million civilians as human shields. The fight in crowded residential areas has also restricted the use of heavy weapons and airstrikes from the US-backed coalition. For weeks, commanders have talked about opening a new front in southwest Mosul to stretch IS defenses, but the dispatch of the units to the southeast may delay that plan.
Iran orders its scientists to start developing systems for nuclear-powered marine vessels in response to what it calls a US violation of its landmark 2015 atomic deal with world powers. Nuclear experts said that President Hassan Rouhani's move, if carried out, would probably require Iran to enrich uranium to a fissile purity above the maximum level set in the nuclear deal to dispel fears of Tehran building an atomic bomb. Rouhani's announcement marked Tehran's first concrete reaction to a decision by US Congress last month to extend some sanctions on Tehran that would also make it easier to reimpose others lifted under the nuclear pact. The White House said it was aware of Iran's order and noted that Rouhani had said any such work on the vessels would be done within the framework of Iran's commitments. White House spokesman Josh Earnest told a news briefing that the announcement from the Iranians does not run counter to the international agreement to prevent Iran from obtaining a nuclear weapon. Rouhani described the technology as a nuclear propeller to be used in marine transportation, but did not say whether that meant just ships or possibly also submarines. Iran said in 2012 that it was working on its first nuclear-powered sub. Pakistan sets up a special maritime force to guard a key port of China-Pakistan economic corridor. The Pakistan Navy's Task Force 88 was formed to ensure the security of Gwadar port and will be responsible for conducting security missions in the area. At the ceremony to mark the founding of the force, Chairman of Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee Zubair Hayat stressed the force's importance in ensuring the port's security and the operation of the CPEC. The U.S. National Weather Service says that biting cold blasts of Arctic air grips the northern Great Plains and parts of the Midwest, bringing dangerous winds, chills and threat of frostbite.
According to the National Weather Service, NWS, the Arctic air mass was expected to create wind chills of lower than minus 29 degrees Celsius over the coming days in the northern plains, a region that includes Minnesota, North Dakota and South Dakota. The NWS forecast said that by end of the week, the cold air is expected to travel through the Midwest into the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast states. Forecasters have said the cold weather snap could be similar to the life-threatening lows that afflicted some U.S. regions in 2014 due to the polar vortex. The phenomenon is a spinning mass of cold air over the North Pole that delivers icy air into the mid-latitudes during the winter whenever the vortex weakens and splits up. In Indianapolis, Indiana, heavy snowfall in I-70 triggered traffic accidents, although no serious injuries were reported. It took wrecker crews several hours to clear the snow up to get the road open again. Fargo in North Dakota was expected to experience some of the coldest temperature among U.S. cities from the latest chill. According to NWS, with the wind chill, temperature in the Fargo area on Tuesday could feel like minus 32 degrees to minus 37 degrees Celsius. In those conditions, frostbite, an injury caused by freezing body tissue, can afflict exposed skin within minutes. The NWS also warned of a wind chill similar to those in Fargo in west central and northwest Minnesota. It was around minus 7 degrees Celsius in Chicago, but the temperature was expected to drop to around minus 30 Celsius on Thursday. The NWS National Advisory said that heavy snow this week could fall in parts of northern Michigan, Pennsylvania, and New York State.
And a quick look at sports. Bayern Munich forward Robert Lewandowski extends his contract with the German champions by 2 years to 2021. Lewandowski joined Bayern in 2014 from Bundesliga rivals Borussia Dortmund and was the league's top scorer in the 2015-16 season. The Poland forward also heads his club's scoring list this season with 11 Bundesliga goals, 4 behind league-leading Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang of Dortmund. Bayern are chasing a record-extending 5th consecutive Bundesliga title and are in the Champions League last 16, where they will face Arsenal. And a young boy's dream comes true. Lionel Messi walks out onto the pitch ahead of Barcelona's match against Al Ahly Saudi FC with a very special mascot, Martaza Ahmadi. The young Afghan boy gained internet fame earlier this year by wearing a plastic bag which mimicked Messi's Argentina shirt. Finally, Murtaza met the Barcelona squad and his hero at Doha's Al Jarafa Stadium before accompanying the Barcelona captain into the pitch. He also joined Barcelona's team photograph and had to be almost dragged away from a bemused but delighted Messi so that the match could start. In February, Murtaza from Ghazni province in rural eastern Afghanistan received an Argentina and Barcelona shirt in a package along with a ball from the UNICEF Goodwill Ambassador Messi. It all started when Murtaza asked his father for a shirt like his hero Messi, but it was outside the means of his family. His family decided to dress him in a blue and white plastic bag to mimic the Argentina colors, and images of him in the makeshift jersey went viral. Canadian actor Alan Thicke, best known for his leading role in the 1980s family sitcom Growing Pains, dies in California.
A source close to the family told Reuters by telephone that Thicke suffered a heart attack and was transported to Providence St. Joseph Medical Center in Burbank, California, where he was pronounced dead. Grammy Award-nominated singer Robin Thicke told the Los Angeles Times newspaper that his father was playing hockey with another of his sons, 19-year-old Carter Thicke, when he suffered the heart attack. Alan Thicke was beloved by many fans for his role as a psychiatrist and father Jason Seaver in ABC Growing Pains, which ran from 1985 to 1992. Thicke's work in the show earned him a nomination for a Golden Globe for the best performance by an actor in a television series in 1988. Thicke was also a popular host for television events, including the Emmy Awards, and a prolific composer of television theme songs, among which was the theme for Wheel of Fortune. Thicke also appeared in an array of television shows, including The Outer Limits, Murder, She Wrote, and Married with Children. More recently, Thicke was set to appear in Fuller House, a remake of the popular 1990s family sitcom produced by Netflix. His death was quickly mourned on social media.
For now, stay tuned for more updates of recent current affairs stories here on Television Motives. Thank you for joining us. Have a wonderful night.